All right, so we're diving right into it today, folks. Hurricane Milton.
Yeah.
And no sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
This is a serious situation.
Absolutely.
But we're all about getting you prepped, not panicked, right?
Exactly.
We want to make sure you've got the info to make the best possible decisions in the coming days.
Yeah.
And, as of this morning, Monday, October 7th, Hurricane Milton went through, well, honestly, kind of a terrifyingly fast intensification to Category 5 now.
Yeah.
Packing winds of 160 miles per hour. That's 250 kilometers per hour, by the way, for those keeping track metrically.
Wow.
And the National Weather Service is definitely not mincing words here, calling Milton, and I quote, extremely dangerous, especially for anyone on Florida's West Coast with, Wednesday looming.
Yeah, and what's really got our attention, really got us concerned, is that speed, how quickly this thing's powering up. Even for someone like me, and I've been tracking hurricanes for a long time now.
Yeah.
This kind of rapid escalation, it's unusual.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, it sets off alarm bells. And it's not just the wind, right? I mean, the National Weather Service is also warning about what they're calling destructive cyclonic tides, which is, I guess, a more scientific way of saying a massive, and I mean massive, surge of water expected to hit Florida's west coast on Wednesday. This isn't your typical high tide, folks. We're talking potential for a life-threatening surge.
And that's what really gets me. I mean, what is causing these hurricanes to intensify so rapidly? Is this like becoming a trend?
It's a really good question. And honestly, warmer ocean temperatures, they act almost like, rocket fuel for hurricanes. It's actually one of the main reasons. Understanding how climate change impacts hurricanes is so crucial these days. And yeah, unfortunately, it's not great. We're seeing a pretty clear pattern of this rapid intensification in recent years, which is, likely linked to these warmer waters.
And, well, it's never good news on top of bad news. But we're also looking at projections showing heavy rainfall starting as early as Tuesday night. And it looks like it's going to continue probably into Thursday morning. So we're looking at a double whammy here. The raw power of the hurricane combined with, a very serious risk of what they're calling inland and coastal flooding. They're even using the term compounding threats, which, that kind of paints a stark picture, doesn't it?
It does. And here's why this 1-2 punch of flooding is particularly dangerous, particularly scary. We're talking about the potential for sudden urban flooding. Think streets turning into rivers, widespread area flooding, the kind that can really trap people unexpectedly. And even the potential for moderate to major flooding along rivers. This isn't just, puddles in the street, folks. This is serious stuff. This is a recipe for major widespread disruption, real danger, especially for those who haven't evacuated.
So knowing all of this, right, with everything we've just gone over, what are some actions our listeners should be taking right now? What can they be doing right this second?
Okay, so if you're in an evacuation zone, and by that I mean an area that's been specifically designated by officials as a particularly vulnerable, now's the time to act, frankly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, riding out the storm itself. It's about being smart, thinking ahead, and making sure you've got access to, the essential resources and support in the aftermath. Things can get pretty chaotic after a major hurricane, to state the obvious, and just simply being in a safe and accessible location, that's crucial.
Absolutely. And there's a little bit of good news here, at least for some of our listeners. For those of you in Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough counties, free evacuation transport is being offered. And it starts tomorrow, Tuesday, running from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. local time. Take advantage of this, please, if it applies to you.
Yes, absolutely. Heed that.
And, just on a practical note, we do have to talk about power because the expectation is for widespread power loss across the affected areas.
Yeah. And, imagine being in the dark for days, possibly without air conditioning in this, Florida heat.
Yeah.
That's why being prepared is absolutely vital. Having a well-stocked hurricane kit is absolutely essential. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm hoping you've already got that covered, but equally important, staying informed.
100%. And a quick but important reminder, folks, straight from officials, if you're using a generator during the outage, please be careful, be safe, use it safely. Those things can be, they can be incredibly dangerous if they're not used correctly. Mm-hmm. Make sure you've got a reliable source for weather updates, and whatever you do, heed the advice of those local authorities.
This is important stuff. Mm-hmm. Stay safe out there, everybody. And remember, knowledge and preparation, those are your absolute best defenses in these situations.
Oh, couldn't agree more. And, maybe just one more thing to kind of ponder on as we wrap up here.
Yeah.
Could could climate change be a factor in how quickly hurricanes like Milton gain strength? That's a thought-provoking question for sure
Mhm.
as we continue to navigate a world where these types of events, while they seem to be more and more common, don't they?
No doubt.
All right. Stay safe out there, everyone.